Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now let's hear it for our special guest host, Terry Edwards.
Let's go. What's up, Alliance Nation? This is your best friend, your cousin, Terry Edwards, coming to you live right here from beautiful Kernersville, North Carolina. I am so excited. Coming out of family reunion. We just came from Burlington, North Carolina. Listen, I know without a shadow of a doubt, Burlington felt the power of the Alliance over the past weekend, guys. I know we stimulated the economy in Burlington, baby. We packed out hotels. We packed out restaurants. We packed out bars and eating galleries. We were amazing, and we were a blessing to the people in Burlington and the local Burlington economy. That's right. But most importantly, I don't know about y'all, but I feel so great to have been invested in by the likes of a Andy and Jane Albright over the weekend, by the likes of a Eric Belair over the weekend, Mike and Noel Leventovich over the weekend, God knows, Andy Riddle over the weekend, all these leaders in the different breakout sessions. Oh my gosh, it was such quality content. But before I get into that, guys, first of all, give honor where honor is due. Thank you so much, Andy and Jane Albright, for the awesome opportunity to be able to host this call on today, where you turn the keys to the kingdom over to a little country boy from North Carolina like me to speak into the lives of the Alliance family. And I do not take that for granted. Jason, my man, Jason Mathis is on here today. Jason, can you believe, bro, a little over 10 years ago, you placed a $25 Craigslist ad, didn't know how it was going to fly down in the metro Atlanta area, and a little brown boy named Terry Edwards responded to that ad. And over the last 10 years, man, I just want to say, first and foremost, Jason, thank you for the opportunity. Because had you not posted that Craigslist ad, I don't know literally where we would be right now. So thank you and Olga. Also, not just for the opportunity, but thank you guys for the amazing example. You guys have been the model of consistency, consistently in the top recruiting, consistently in the top personal production, one of the most widest, one of the deepest organizations in the entire Alliance. And my friend, it has been a pleasure doing not just business, but doing life with you and Olga over the last 10 years. And also new integrity partner, Andy and Angela Riddle. Guys, did your hearts not burn when we saw the integrity rollout announcing Alliance Arete as new integrity partners? Like, I get excited for all of the videos that Integrity released, but it's something special when you be like, yeah, I know him. And that dude right there and that girl right there, yeah, they put in the work. They earned that thing. So I am just so grateful. And to all of the leaders of the Alliance, we're just grateful, man. So before we get into the content for today, speaking of family reunion, guys, if you have not had a chance to show gratitude to the amazing Alliance staff, listen, I try to put on a boot camp and stuff like that in my little local area. I'm just planning for a few people to come in. But when you're planning for multiple thousands, and to have the level of excellence that we enjoyed this weekend, I mean, breakout sessions. How about this, y'all? Check this out. Did you realize, like, the detail into, okay, when you leave the basement to go out of the breakout session, I need you to go to the door to the left. Other people are going to be, like, the thought that goes into it. So Tia Land, her whole marketing team, thank you so much. Jennifer Daniels, the food was amazing. I don't know what the people was eating down in the basement area, but I know the VIP food was rocking. The whole VIP area set up for snacks. Oh my gosh. Robbie Kraft that stepped on stage with that custom suit on them Air Force, them dunks on them, custom dunks, killed it. Clay and the whole PC staff. So listen, staff, I know you're over at the corporate office, right back at it on Monday morning. But from all of us that attended this weekend, thank you so much for your amazing hospitality. And last but not least, all of the speakers, the breakout speakers, you guys killed it all weekend long. And I'm just excited. Now, speaking of events, right? We just left out of family reunion, and here at the Alliance, our culture is we build from event to event. Okay, so family reunion is over. Yes, Mike and Noel Leventovich, the Terry and Tia Edwards RM Base Shop did have more attendees at family reunion. So I'm gonna just rub that in right now. We are not settling on our laurels. Okay, we're going from event to event, so we expect to grow. And from what I'm hearing, guys, tickets are flying off the shelf right now for National Boot Camp. So go ahead and put it in your calendars right now. Our next big event where the whole alliance come together is our National Boot Camp. And it's going to be in Burlington, North Carolina. And it's going to be October the 6th. If you go to the allianceevents.com, you ain't got to remember all the details. If you just go right here and click National Boot Camp, there we go. October the 16th through the 19th in Burlington, North Carolina. On that Thursday the 16th, more estate planning, intense training. But the general population will be coming in on that Friday for the event. So make sure you get your tickets. Now, let's talk about tickets. Now, if family reunion was your first event or National Boot Camp would be your first major event, guys, you can get in that event for $99. And my thing is this right here, y'all. It includes your admission ticket and meals, 3 meals. Like, bro, I can't feed one person 3 meals for $100. So guess what, guys? Andy is putting this stuff in place because we know big things happen at these big events. So if you're a first-time attendee or this is your second event, right, $99. Now, for the rest of us, margin orders pass, $249. That's right, $249. And then if you don't have the whole $249, you need a payment plan, $349. Just put $50 down on it, okay? And then the top brass. Now, this is where I want to be right here. 2 admission tickets, priority check-in, frontline seating, 2 meal tickets to the VIP area, 2 swag bags, and a VIP parking pass. We call that the top brass access for $1,299. And the crazy part about that is this right here. Those prices are good for the next 8 days. After July 31st, the more you wait, it's going to take some weight off your pocketbook. It's going to cost you more money. So go ahead and lock in your tickets right now. Now, also coming out of the event, we have leaders who are on the grow and on the go. So we have hotspots. These are little micro meetings all across the country that's going on. So like today in Scottsdale, Arizona, Gina Hawks and James and Pamela, Jake Joseph is going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona on the 24th. Gina will be in Anaheim, California. But listen, y'all, a lot of big events going on. So stay on this hotspot map so that you can check out what is going on. And I do want to bring mention to Andy Albright, our El Capitan, our CEO, is on the road. So there's going to be a huge meeting July the 31st in Houston, Texas. It's going to be an opportunity meeting and training. Here are all the details. He's going to have a jet full of people with him. I know I will be there. I also know Sebastian, and plus all of the local leaders in the area will be there. And then look at Miss Olga, Miami, Florida. Also, the next day, Andy Albright and the crew will be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then on August the 2nd, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, during a training from 12 to 4 on that August the 2nd. So guys, there's a lot going on. Our step step 5 in the 8 steps to success is attend all meetings, guys. Listen, get to these meetings. It will be a blessing to you to help you not only grow as a person, but grow your business. That's right. So now, let me take me a little sip out of my haystack challenge. Mm-hmm. You know what a haystack is? Mm-hmm. Making them phone calls, baby. Hey, listen, we just got back from an amazing trip. We went to Cabo San Lucas, flipped Cabo upside down, had a blast, but that's over. Coming to the big events also give you bonus points. Y'all listen, come to National Boot Camp. If that's your first big event, you're going to get 275,000 marketing points towards an all-expense paid vacation to Thailand. That's right, Thailand. PP Island, baby. 275,000 marketing credits. You need 400 to qualify. So if NBC is your first event, you got 275,000. Let us help you write 125,000 over the next couple of months, baby. You and a guest can come. So now speaking of Thailand, we got some new winners. We got some winners, y'all. Winner, chicken dinner. Hot off the text, not the press, but the text. Here we go. Qualified, Thailand, trip from 2. District managers, Joe and Tanya Walker. District managers, Josh and Alexis Parker. District manager, Deborah Dixon. Key leader, Oscar Cruzada. That's right. Caroline and Robin Paul. James and Angie Coleman. Amanda Maldonado. Mia Fennell. Vincenzo, we call him Cousin Vinny. Vinny done got up in there. Adam Burge, congratulations. Aisha Bakari, congratulations. Jake and Belle Krause, congratulations. Linda Goebel, Linda and Keith, congratulations. And check this out. Eric and Bobby Belair has not only qualified for Thailand, but they've qualified and earned the extension already. So our managers that have qualified, here we go. Executive vice presidents, newly minted. Jerry and Cassie Burbage down there in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Linda Gober, again, on the manager side. Mike and Noel Leventovich, senior board members, 3, done qualified for Thailand for 2. Stephen and Holly Davis done qualified. Terry and Tia Edwards, done qualified. Listen, it's a sad dog that won't wag his own tail. Here we go. And Brandon and Haley Manley, congratulations, guys. Listen, it's still time to get more people qualified for Thailand, and I am super excited about that. So I believe we got all of our housekeeping out the way. Have I missed anything, Tia? Shoot me a text, Tia, if I missed anything. And I'm talking about Tia Land, Tia Edwards. Don't text me and distract me with your beautiful self. That's right. That's my girl right there. On Monday, on this coming Monday, we will be celebrating 24 years of marriage. And I'm super excited about that. So we're going to go ahead and get into content for today. Hey, guys, could y'all pull up all of the panelists so that we can get into this? Because this is the thing, guys. Have you ever went to a meeting? And it ain't even got to be a big meeting, because guess what? A big meeting could be the TWC. So sometimes people think big meeting only means where the whole alliance come together. It could be a meeting at your local hotspot, right? But have you ever left a meeting and you was just fired up out your mind? You started dreaming again. You left that meeting saying, Danielle, I don't know about you, but I left the meeting sometimes saying, do you mean to tell me that Jeremiah Dockey allegedly has already cash flowed over $1 million? I'm like, could if he can do, Can I do it? Jason, you know what I'm saying? You see the winners winning. And and sometimes it's a little spark left in you that you didn't think was still down there. And you was like, wait a minute, maybe, just maybe. So you got that was you too.
That
So
was me.
listen, guys, we get fired up and we get back to the house and we're like, what do we do? What is it that I do? So on today, we're going to talk about, hopefully, because I believe in being fired up, but also hopefully that fired upness, as you come to these meetings and get immersed in our culture, that it transfers just not from being fired up excited to being fired up passionate. What do I mean by that? See, a lot of times we say we're fired up, we just excited, like Noel. I'm fired up out of my mind and my hair's on fire. I love that. But guess what? That feeling of enthusiasm, of being just fired up, oftentimes is short-lived and it's triggered by a new experience. And then what happens is if we don't put things in place and start changing, it's easy to come back home and slip right back into our same old habits. So we're going to talk about that today. Are you fired up or are you passionate? See, the next level of being fired up is passion. That's when there's a deep, enduring feeling of commitment and enthusiasm. So I'm fired up, but I done committed to something that oftentimes involves a strong sense of purpose and dedication. I think about, they didn't name the movie Fired Up of Christ. No, it was Passion of the Christ. It took passion to put your own ego on the back burner. It took a person who did no wrong. It took passion to say, you know what? I'm going to put the weight of the world on my shoulders and I'm going to carry it to the cross. Like, that's passion. Now, I ain't trying to push religion, but I am trying to push passion. Because the world wants us to be wandering generalities, just walking around, just walking dead. But I believe that here at the Alliance, there's a lot of people that's getting fired up, and that spark is being kindled, baby. And we getting ready to take over like never before. So we are super excited to have 3 amazing hosts, and it's going to all come together at the end because we're going to talk about building depth, right? But just to give you guys some reference, you have Andy Albright, and there was a lot of people there. Then he recruited Andy Riddle. And there was a lot of people in between Andy Riddle, and then here come Jason and Olga Mathis, right? Then Jason and Olga, recruited me and Tia direct. And I hope that Craigslist ad paid off, baby. Listen, Terry and Tia Edwards up under there. Then here comes a few people between, and then here comes Sebastian and LaQuenta Chambers. And here comes Danielle Graham. So this all is going to tie in, man. This is one powerful leg right here that you're going to get to learn from on today. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So Miss Danielle, we're going to start with you because we could not have all of these 3 uglies and not bring something to help make it easier on the eye for the viewing audience. No, not just your appearance, Danielle. You are a wonderful soul. We are so grateful to have you as a part of our Dream Team and Alliance family. So Danielle, you're brand new. First of all, can you introduce yourself? Let everybody know who you are, kind of how you got connected with us, and tell us a little bit, just high level, about your family.
Well, thank you so much, Chair. I'm so excited to be here. Well, again, my name is Danielle Graham. I'm a mom. I have 2 beautiful little girls and my husband. And Man, I'm just so excited. I come from a background of just serving. I love to serve, and so of course I graduated from high school and said, you know what, I'm going to be a social worker. I'm going to help people, and then I said, you know what, I need to do childhood education. I want to help all the little kids, but there was another plan. It kind of veered to the left a little bit, but from there I spent the most of my adult life in property management, just helping families. And getting them into houses and helping their little kids, and I love that. But about 4 years ago, some death came knocking at my family's door. And from there, my husband was presented the opportunity to actually get his life insurance license. And I was kind of watching him a little bit, and I was like, I don't know what you're doing. I was kind of watching to the side. I don't know if you've ever seen that unsupportive spouse or a little supported from the side. That was me. But after we had that death knock on our door, and I understood what this industry could do, not only for my family, that back home does GoFundMe's and does not is not well established, and it took for my mom to go in the military to actually show me a different way. My mother and I jet set it on an adventure around the world for a long time with just her and I, and then she got married, and my family kind of went from there. But I'm so thankful for that opportunity to travel, and that's how I met my husband here in Fort Sill. And again, just for him to then find life insurance, and me learning how it could impact our family, but families around this community and in my little old country community back in Delaware. If y'all don't know, Delaware is a little country down at the bottom, and even my family in Maryland. So I'm really excited. I really have that passion to just really help people. I'm a servant at heart. I serve in my church and ministry. My husband and I are deacon and deaconesses, and I'm in charge of the youth ministry. So I have a servant's heart, and that's just what I'm here to do.
I love it. I love it. So it's funny that you said you was the little supportive spouse on the side. It was going to be your husband's thing, right? So there are a lot of people that's watching us right now, and they're trying to figure out, I'm doing this thing, but my wife or my husband, they just don't support me. They always, nagging and yapping or whatever the case may be. So how did you go from being the supportive spouse to saying, you know what, I'm gonna mess around and I done got my license and we gonna do this thing together, baby?
Well, I tell you what, for whatever spouse is running, keep running, stay consistent, because sure enough, especially as women, we're a little nosy. So we watching, we want to know what you're doing, even though we act like we don't. And so that was my story. But like I said, once that death came knocking at our door, and I was at someone's bedside at that final breath, it hit me differently. And from there, I said, you know what? People need to know. I saw how their family's finances were affected. I learned more about living benefits, and I said, honey, I need to educate. And so that's what I started doing. I started educating. And then about a year ago, I said, honey, I want to learn how to do this business full time. And from there, that's what I did. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about it later, how I wound up shifting from a practice company. But people got to know. And so I just say, stay consistent. Don't get frustrated when your spouse. Communicate with your spouse. I will say that. My husband was just pulling off on the side of the road. He's like, I got to get on this meeting. I'm like, sir, why are we pulling over? Because he's like, I got to be stationary. I got to have my camera on. And I didn't understand the level of accountability that was growing in him. But I watched him grow, not only in business, but as a man. And from there, it attracted me to what he was doing.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. You get me excited, Danielle. You got to slow down now. Slow down. Hey, listen. So, Danielle, you mentioned I got my life insurance and my husband was doing another company and doing this, blah, blah, blah. How did you and Sebastian and LaQuinta connect? And then how did that evolve to you becoming a member of the Alliance? And that's just happened.
Yes, just happened. I will tell you, within, I would honestly say years ago, I don't even know if Sebastian remembers this, but we saw him at a basketball game and he had his card. And I said, oh, he does life insurance, but he was talking to my father-in-law. They used to work together on Fort Sill. And so from there, we just began bumping into each other in the community. LaQuinta and I both joined a local organization called Lawton Business Women, so I would see her there. And then his daughter and my sister became really close friends. And so we just began to kind of intertwine. But last month sometime, we were at a similar event around Juneteenth, and then he had his paperwork out for having his seminar for the estate planning. And I told my husband, I said, I got to get my dad's affairs in order, so we need to go. But deep down, I told y'all I'm a little nosy. Deep down, I really wanted to know more about what he was doing, because I also saw him growing, also being around his daughter more. They just seemed like a really solid family. So from there, we went to the estate planning seminar, and then we scheduled a one-on-one meeting. And then from the one-on-one meeting, I had my husband come with me because I was already curious, but I had to get him to come with me. And then from there, we talked about what we came to talk about. And then we were kind of like, so tell me more. And so it kind of went from there. And, I'm so blessed to have Sebastian and LaQuinta as mentors, because it's just different being able to be face to face and being able to glean right here in the office.
So that's right. We say here at the Alliance, Danielle, and for everybody listening, we do one thing, and we sell, we recruit, and we build, right? And that you are a product. Thank you, Sebastian. Let me just pause right there. Thank you, sir, for doing the one thing that we do: sell, recruit, and build. Thank you, Sebastian Chambers, for having passion to get out of your office and do unconventional things. And then when you got in front of it, so listen, he was out doing a community event talking about estate planning. Oh, wait a minute. I thought you had to do a seminar to do estate planning. Come on, y'all. So thank you, Sebastian, for doing that and getting Danielle in. So Danielle, so you just got started with us. And what did Sebastian tell you to make you purchase a ticket to family reunion, just getting started with us, purchase a ticket, leave your daughters and your husband at the house and come to Burlington? What did he say? Because people are wanting to know, how do I get brand new people to commit fast? What did he do? What did he say? How did he make you feel? Give us some framework.
Well, first of all, after getting started, he was, talking about, we're going to go to the family reunion. So again, I told you I'm a little nosy. I even was in the ARC, kind of looked at the family reunion, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't know if I can make that happen. But people tell you about FOMO. I was like, the more they talked about it, and then we kind of talked about it, and from being just in this office, I knew that something different was happening in the atmosphere and in my life. And I just knew that I needed to be in the room. I knew I wasn't sure how it was going to happen. And so as it got, I believe it was like that, the end of the week before family reunion, we just began to talk and say, can we figure this out? I went home, talked to my husband, please, honey, can we figure this out? Sebastian was like, you know what? If you figure out that ticket, we're going to help. We're going to figure out the rest. Next thing I know, I had a roommate, some tickets, like everything was just lining up. And that is because of Sebastian and LaQuinta Chambers, that they really saw that I had the heart to be there, and they lined it up. And so I got that ticket. I got on that plane. I rode with the other ladies in the office down to Dallas, got on the plane, and the rest is history.
I love it. I love it. Again, guys, I'm picking up so many nuggets right here. Like, number one, Sebastian was talking about it. He wasn't relying on his upline to talk about it. He wasn't depending on Danielle getting on the ARC and discovering it herself. No, he was talking about it at his level. Then when she got on the Dream Team call, we promote events. How are we consistently one of the top ticket event goer peoples? Because we promote events. The biggest promoters got the biggest businesses, right? So we promoted it there. Then she got on the TWC, her other people. It's all of us working together. Together, everybody achieves so much more. And then this is the other thing, the environment. She spoke of, I knew it was something based on the atmosphere that Sebastian and LaQuinta had created in their office. Stephen Davies did a call a couple of weeks ago, say most of y'all trying to sell product and features, and I'm trying to sell a feeling, baby, a feeling, right? So what type of environment are you creating within your office that when people walk in and be in your presence, they can sense it is something different here? Oh my gosh, this is the best edification that she could give for Sebastian and LaQuinta. I love everything about it, baby. So now, Danielle, a couple more questions. I ain't gonna worry your patience. You have been a part of another company. You came to our event. You started hanging around our culture. What was your expectation when you were on your way to the event? And once you got there and you done thought about it, what did you see, feel? Kind of tell us about that. And I already know you done purchased your National Boot Camp ticket, and Mr. Hubby, he coming.
Yes, he is.
Let's go, baby.
So I would say my expectation was just, I'm hungry. So my expectation was just to eat. My expectation was, yeah. You know, I've never participated in TikTok, but yes, exactly. My expectation was just to eat. I was hungry. I wanted any and everything that was going to come across that stage. And I was really excited when I saw there was breakout rooms. I said, oh, I can get information specifically for me. So I was just, there was times special, like, you okay? I was like, yep, I'm just going from room to room. I was just going. I was just being led. I prayed and I was like, God, just send me where I need to be at. So I just went from room to room, and that was my expectation, was just to eat. The feeling was just, I was fed. And people around me wanted to feed me. It was a caring atmosphere. It was a passion of helping families, because as I have a servant's heart, which is something I also heard your wife say in the nighttime meeting, that's what I have. And so with having that servant's heart, with other people, with being able to reciprocate that, I was just like, this is an atmosphere for me. It just fit well with my spirit, and I was just really, blessed to be in the room. And so from there, how could you not get your next ticket for National Boot Camp? Because I heard Andy say on stage, because it's going to be even more training. It's going to be more information. And so if I'm hungry, I got to be in the room to get that food, because I'm going to be out here starving if we don't make it in the room. We won't be prepared to do what we need to do in our business. And so I needed to be in the room. And so, again, Sebastian sending out messages. This is how many tickets we have. Who's getting the next ticket? The way he's leading from the front is being disseminated down the line. And so those tickets were necessary. And then I had to text my husband, hey, can you make this work? And when he said yes, I was like, let's go. Let's go. So I'm excited that he's going to be there at the next event, so he can really see what I see with the Alliance.
I love it. Well, Danielle, we are so excited to have you. I want you to make sure, and I know Sebastian always have materials and tools in his office. I want you to make sure that you get your hand on this green book, this Millionaire Maker Manual, and definitely start diving into it. But the first thing that I want you to read is on page 85. It talks about how to go from 1 to 11 in one step. I just want you to read that one page and then call me later so we can talk about it. Let's eat, Danielle. We're super. Oh, look at you. Let's go. So, Danielle, thank you so much, man. I can't wait to meet Cedric. And we're so excited to have you on the team. And matter of fact, Tia, you can leave Danielle up to make sure that we can keep our audience while we here. There we go. So Sebastian and my man Jason, we're going to just bounce around as if we just sitting around the fire pit smoking a cigar with Jason. I'm sipping on ice cold water. And Sebastian, I know you got some technology in your hand recording us or whatever the case may be.
Whatever it is.
So guys, first of all, Sebastian, if you don't mind, we got so many new people joining the team they may not even know who you are. And they wondering too, with you recruiting all these quality people, you got to be in a big metropolis area. So Sebastian, my friend, introduce yourself, man. Give people a high level overview of who you are, how you got connected, and what's, just, what we do.
Yeah, so hey, thank you guys. Thank you, Andy Albright. Thank you, Andy and Angela Riddle, Mr. Mathis and Miss Olga. Thank you, Terry and Tia. We love you guys. Sebastian, LaQuinta Chambers, billionaires. We have mansions and yachts. We're right here in good old Lawton, America. We call it Lawton, America because it's a military town. And we have some of everything in a group of 99,000 people. That's how big we are. So we got a chance to meet Terry and Tia back in June of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. I was working in the Medicare space, was doing that for about a year, almost 2 years. And when COVID hit and everything shut down, we thought our business was kind of going to be on freeze for a while. And I met Terry through some friends that we were in another business before with those folks. And her name was Rose Poole. She went to Florida and answered a Craigslist ad. Met Terry, got to talking to him, and after her conversation with Terry, she calls me and says, "Sebastian, you got to meet Terry Edwards." She coordinated this meeting. We talked, I think, Terry and I for 45 minutes, and these words will never leave my brain. I told Terry my situation. I told him what I was planning on doing. I was going to work my Medicare business October to December, take the rest of the year off because I was hood rich. I had made $15,000, during AEP my first year.
That joker I said hood rich.
I was hood rich, 15,000, Come on, man. I got this. That's like 2,000 extra a month. Who makes that? And so I got excited and I told Terry about it. And Terry said, "What about the rest of the months?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, why not do insurance the rest of the months?" I say, "I would, but it's COVID. We can't go anywhere." Terry said, "Sebastian, as agents, we are essential personnel." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, how about if you go out and help people get policies? Because right now we had an all-time high of folks trying to figure out how to get policies." I said, "Well, how do I do that?" He said, "I'll teach you. And I tell you what, Sebastian, if you do everything I show you and it don't work, you can blame me." That's all I needed to hear. I get to blame somebody. If I mess up, I can look at my wife and say, "Hey, it was his fault." So we started doing that in 2020, and we just got excited about it. Now, I did have some trust issues in the beginning, Terry. You know this. It took me a couple of years before I really took it serious. But one thing that I did in those 2 years, I attended all meetings. So I don't care what it was. Our first few meetings, I think my first one, I brought my daughter. My second one, we brought a couple other friends. But I had been a part of several businesses that collapsed. So I know what it's like for a business to be there one day and next day just be totally gone. And so that had happened to us 3 different times. So when I joined the Alliance, I was very skeptical. So it took me a long time to get activated.
So during your, and that's crazy right there, but during your skepticism, you still moved, you came to the meetings. What was it that made you just surrender? And Jason, feel free to jump in anytime, man. We just having a good old boy chat around the fireplace, smoking a cigar. What was it, man, about what happened that made you go from skepticism to belief?
It was the culture.
It was the meal. It was the meal we had at that restaurant with me.
That was a good one too.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah, but hey, listen, you're entitled to that, Jason. I'm gonna stick with you on it. Yep, it was the meal, but and it was that meal plus a lot of experiences. See, this is the thing about the culture of the Alliance. I was talking to Danielle and a couple of other agents that have been in other companies. And I asked them, "Have y'all ever met the president and CEO of those companies?" And it was a quick no. But getting around Andy and Jane Albright, how is it there's not a time if I'm in the area where Andy Albright is, it's like he will not let that moment pass without us at least saying hi, giving us a hug, a high five, a conversation, inviting him, and you're on his jet, inviting
and his cell phone number.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Right?
When I was in Alabama, I never talked to Brian Moynihan.
Yeah, but so it was like I go up to Jason and Olga, and it's, hey man, take my number, huh? Okay. I go to Andy and Angela Riddle. That was before they were even married. You know what I'm saying? Here, take my number. What? Why are y'all giving me your number? I'm not gonna ever talk to y'all. And I end up talking to him. It's crazy. And then Terry, y'all just our very first visit. So after we joined, very shortly after that, we jump on an aeroplane, like Terry like to call it, and we fly to North Carolina. And we're thinking, okay, I got to get a rental car. I got to do this. I got to get somebody to stay. Terry say, we'll pick you up from the airport when we have a place for y'all. I'm like, oh, Terry's gonna get my hotel. That joker drives up into his yard. It's COVID. Who does that? You know what I'm saying? And then he brings us up to corporate, and we walk in, and they got our picture on the dang screen. And everybody we meet, they already know who we are, and they talking to us. And I'm like, is this the real corporate office, or is this just like a side office? What is this?
So let's stop. Let's pause for a minute, because you dropping so much stuff that we got to make sure people are picking up. So number one, when we're building a business, and Jason, you do a good darn job. Let's talk about it. In the Millionaire Maker Manual, I highly advise everybody to go to Millionaire Maker Manual, read page 107 through 121.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it talks about building a base. And Mike and Noel Leventovich, let me tell you my big takeaway from one of my big takeaways. Mike and Noel Leventovich woke me up when they started talking about building your business. So when we're building a business, and it talks about it on page 109, the first statement on going deep is, if you have an agent, you have to find another agent underneath that agent. As a matter of fact, we say you don't have an agent until that agent has an agent. Now let's unpack that lunch. So I recruited a lady that responded to an ad, and I asked her. I didn't ask her to give me a list of names. I didn't ask her to get like a list of 100 names or 200 names. I said, who is one or two people that you know that's sharp and ambitious just like you? And she said, Sebastian Chambers. I said, how fast can you get me on the phone? So the rule number one, we don't have an agent until you get an agent. So many of us get excited because we get one that we don't even go deep. We don't even go one deep, right? So the first thing is going deep fast. Jason, how do you got a very profitable and wide business, and you do a lot of recruiting. Like, okay, so like I asked Sebastian's upline, who do you know? And I got Sebastian on the phone. Jason, what do you do? And then I know you do a lot of recruiting too. How detrimental is it when agents don't allow you the privilege to help them build?
Well, first off, Terry, thanks for having me on this call and getting me on it. I appreciate that, and everything that you do for the Alliance, the Dream Team. You and T are awesome. And you started out the call, and you hear what I did, Terry, is I started to dream again. I was working at corporate America, Hubeland USA, on the corporate nipple, hating it, working their schedule, earning their PTO. And my wife started with these boys at the Alliance, and, do this, do that. And she was doing it, and I was the spouse not doing it. And then she started making some real money, over $9,000 a month. And I'm like, holy crap, this Alliance thing has got something figured out, because, Terry, they took a luggage handler of 25 years experience. I guess that's what it takes to be good, but they took a 25-year luggage handler. You ever look out of a plane, you see that little conveyor belt they put in those suitcases on it? She did that for 25 years, driving a little caboose around, doing all that stuff. And she's making over $9,000 a month now. I said, holy crap, she's making more money than I am here with Mr. Moynihan at Mama Bama, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. So what I did after Albright had built this thing, right? He'd been doing it. And I went to corporate. When my wife got her license, I was like, I don't know. Like, I ain't never heard of Andy Albright. like the Alliance. I don't know how big they are. They could be running this thing out of a P.O. box. So me and my wife did a corporate tour up there. We drove from Jacksonville, Florida to Burlington, North Carolina. You can fit 3 or 4 Walmarts at the Alliance corporate. So we got up there, and my belief for her just expanded. I'm like, this joker's got it figured out. He's got the leads. They fill it out. There's no free giveaways on these things. So Andy has built this huge thing, and you touched on it. So I just started listening to the people that had massive success. I knew in my mid-40s, I'm 56 now. Back then, I was a little bit younger. I knew, Terry, not to listen to the dum-dums. I knew better than that, right? So I started listening to Andy Albright, Andy Riddle, Clay Murtis at President's Club. And I said, look, I want to start recruiting. I done recruited all the 46-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds I know. They all got jobs. They don't want to do it. I got some of them started. They all quit. So I started with President's Club, and I started doing what Clay told me to do. And he said, look, there's Craigslist. You've heard about it. I said, yeah. He said, post an ad. And we found Terry and Tia Edwards, who had the rug pulled out from under him from corporate America, and he was in banking. I was like, this sounds promising. So I said, look, get to the next meeting. The next meeting, Terry, was a hotspot, a company overview in Atlanta, Georgia, with our buddies, Chris Long and Eric McGriff, the crime dog. Rest both their souls. But guys, this is the power of the Alliance. You don't got to do it alone, bro. You got a clan of people now. You got a family. You got a tribe of people that'll help you. So I call Chris. I'm like, hey, there's this guy, Terry. He's supposed to be showing up. He's been doing what he's saying he's going to do. He got his license in a day and a half. He's like, all right, I'll take care of him. And sure enough, so I felt real comfortable. So the culture is what Albright has built, this massive culture all across America, Hawaii, Alaska included. And so Terry goes there and starts to plug in and get. I've only been doing it 6 months longer than you. And so he starts getting training from Chris Long, Andy Riddle. Like, the burden has just been lifted off of me. See, Terry, I didn't have to be the guy. I had the system behind me. So they took care of you. Chris rocked it out, and you've built a massive organization.
And that first meeting in Atlanta, this is going to be interesting. Chris Long held up this book, The 8 Steps to Success, and said, we don't have anybody doing these 8 steps to success not making a full-time income. And he said, Terry, if you do these 8 steps and it don't work, you can blame it on us. Guess what I told Sebastian? The same thing. So many times, guys, we're trying to be the voice, and sometimes we just need to be what? An echo. Carry on, Jason. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's just, I couldn't help myself.
No, it's all right. So, you start, you listen, guys, if you want to change where you're at in life, whoever's listening to this, if you want to change where you're at, today's the day to start doing it. And you're going to have to do 3 things: read books, listen to audio, and get around the people that are successful. Get away from your dagnum uncle who spent 35 years working for the county and makes a $4,800 pension now, and he tell you, no, don't do it. You need a good pension job. That's great for him. But if you want to make more money and live your dream and have true freedom, this is a place where you can do it, right? Damn, I forgot. What did I say before that?
Okay, where we're supposed to go with this. See, that's why we just some boys just sitting around the fire chat. People just have to be, recruiting. Yeah, come on.
So I posted that ad, listened to Clay Murtis, came out of this event, talked with, who did I talk with today? I talked with this young kid, Mike Rogers. He's got the next meeting for Mike Rogers was this call right here. This was the next meeting for Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers, I said, Mike, look, I don't answer robocallers. Text me your name and your picture. Look at this kid. Sharp looking young man. Right up there.
He look almost as good as me.
Yeah, almost as good as you. So he jumped on this call, and he's on this call, and I said, hey, he's got a friend I'm going to talk to later today or tomorrow. And it's just like, what can you do to be grateful? See, I wanted to be grateful to Andy Riddle for training my people, for Chris Long training my people, for Alex Abian training my people. And one of the best ways you can do that is do the one thing we do: sell, recruit, and build. And when you talk to people, they're going to, so if you read books, listen to audio. But here's what I was going to say. It came back to me. You got to read books, listen to audio, and get around the people that are successful, not the dum-dums. Now, reading books and listening to audio, Terry, Sebastian, is simple, inexpensive, super convenient. You can listen to it when you work out, getting your steps in the shower, when you wake up, before you go to bed, in the car, all that stuff. It's getting around the people that are successful. That is the glue. Mm-hmm. So when Terry talked with Sebastian and he flew out there and met with the Chambers, and they came to Terry's house, and he sat with them and broke bread with them, and getting to know them as a person. And then we've got to figure it out at the Alliance. And so if you can get people to come to the meetings, to attend the meetings, they're going to start to see it, just not in their own little bubble, right? Mm-hmm. And then they go to a hotspot or a company overview, they see that little bit bigger bubble. And then when they go to our national conventions, we do 4 national training events every single year. It's a 90-day run to each one of them. That's when I did that, when I went to my first one, did that company tour, it was just like this thing ain't no joke. 40 carriers, Terry, we're number one with a lot of them, sending them new clients. It's crazy. It's like, this is a serious business. Like, you can make some hey, you can help an unlimited number. Look at a docky of the training. We went to this training. I swear to God, I was catching about every, I mean, he's English is like, I love the kid. I love a docky, but and he's not playing around. Over $1 million of income. And I don't understand everything he's saying in English, but here's what I do understand. He loves helping families. He loves getting them covered, and he loves training people on how he's successful. And I love that, you see. And he is out there just like all in, and just that whole event. You're right. Mike and Noel Leventovich up there, they're training on the board. I'm just like, God dang. Yeah, it's incredible.
So Sebastian, let's roll back. So I'm gonna come back to you, Jason, in a minute. I'm gonna go back to my boy Sebastian. Danielle, you all right over there? All right.
Open Cedric real quick.
Cedric at work.
Is that work? She keeping him working?
Yeah. So we gonna
bring him in.
We're gonna get him. So, right. And that's the other thing. Danielle mentioned this too, and I hope I don't get in trouble. But I'm out here now. I'm out here. Danielle mentioned that she saw not only the growth, like as far as a business, but she saw the growth of her man. Sebastian had trust issues. A lot of guys do. But once he kept hanging around, Sebastian, so let's talk about how these events and the culture and the one-on-one calls, and even Sebastian, as a man, me and you have had some critical conversations. How do you be coachable? How are you so coachable, Sebastian, after being hurt so much?
Well, Terry, my faith in God allows me to forgive real easy. Like, I can't stay mad about stuff. That helps a whole lot. But the other thing is, when somebody has what you're searching for, and they have the integrity and character out amongst all these people, where people are coming to them and asking, and they keep pouring. I watch you pour into this team over and over. I watch Jason pour into the team. And We don't hear the stories about who hurt y'all, who do y'all wrong, who miss you, who talk about y'all bad, like y'all never done anything to ever help them. And most of the, them people are where they're at because of directly what y'all did. But to watch y'all keep going. And so for me, I had to look at myself. I'll be 55 years old this year. I had to look at myself and I had to say, how long am I going to let my pride and ego stop me from reaching these levels? So I had to just sit down when Jason was sitting with me before we even hit district manager. Jason looked at me and said, your business is all wrong. You need to get more serious. You need to call me and let me know what it is you're doing on a day-to-day basis, because you need to fix this, and this. And then Terry said, Sebastian, you got your little hands over in this and your hands need to be over in this. You're worrying about these details. You need to do these details. Now, those conversations weren't conversations where they were like, hey, buddy, we want to help you out. Jason was like, get your head out your ass. Terry was like, Sebastian, you just doing that all the way wrong. Let LaQuinta do that. You do this. Let LaQuinta do this. Leave her alone. So it was things that I had to be told. But the thing was, I could fight them on it and try to prove my way. But my best thinking had got me to where I was at.
Come on.
So I had to go with somebody else.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Your best thinking.
My best thinking. My best thinking had me barely a key leader. You know what I'm saying? So I had to just say, well, let me get some of what Terry's doing. Let me get some of what Jason and Olga's doing, what Andy Riddle's saying. And then Andy Albright. Y'all know Andy Albright. Andy Albright is so good at telling you you're stupid. You'll tell yourself you're stupid and smile about it, right? And then fix it, right?
It's an awakening.
Yeah, it's like, no longer am I a Riri. I've graduated. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just really just putting down the ego, thinking about like playing your favorite sport. Whoever's an athlete, coaches don't come at you soft, man. They come at you hard. And so you have to look at it like coaching. So some people, like this new generation, they piss me off with all this. Well, you need to be softer and gentler. I can't handle you coaching me like that. You should be more polite. And, I really got hurt when you said this. And you're broke. We can fix your brokenness, but I can't fix your stupidness. What you got to do is you got to just lay that little pride down. I'm telling you some things. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. We don't succeed if we don't help our people succeed. So when I'm talking to you, yeah, there's some frustration there. Forgive me. I'm not trying to make you feel little, but at the same time, I'm not trying to cater to your ego either. So you can listen to it, do what you got to do.
Fitz put it this way at the convention.
Yeah.
He said, you got to learn how to think for yourself, but not by yourself.
That's right.
Who you hang around is what you're going to become.
Right.
And I remember talking about Danielle, talking about powerful men, right? When I came to my first event, I am sitting there, just lost my good corporate job. And I'm sitting in that audience looking at Mike and Noel Leventovich, looking at Jason and Olga Mathis, looking at Stephen and Holly Davis, looking at Heather and Fitz, looking at Jane and Andy. And the Riddle wasn't married at that time. But I'm looking at Adam Katz and Beth. I'm looking at these power couples standing on stage, holding hands, and they was even giving each other sugar in public on stage. I'm like, I want that for my family. I looked at Andy Albright. He invited me over to his house for a July the 4th cookout. I thought it was just be an agent event. But I get over there, it was Noot and Ray Ray and Johnny Boy and all them boys over there. These were his real family. But I'm sitting around the pool watching my kid slide down his sliding board into his pool. And I'm like, that's what I want for my family. I want my family to be able to travel. I want my family to be able to be free. I want to stand on stage and one day have my wife say good things about me in front of other people. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to give her bigger diamonds. Y'all seen Jane Albright's rock?
Rich people read books, Terry, and richer people write them. And that's where the secrets are. And so, Albright wasn't genetically predisposed with his DNA to be like he was. He's just some boy that come out of North Carolina that read books, listened to audio, and got around the people that were doing it and learned to coach people, build a system, and be able to teach it to people. And anybody can do that, in my mind. Anybody can do it. And when you're out there doing your carnival barkering to people and you're telling them how awesome the Alliance is, you got to get to know them. You can keep all this yapping, but you better turn these on, because that's where the money's at. That's how they're going to find you interesting, is if you are interested in them instead of doing all this about the Alliance. This call will do that.
Right. So doing all this talking about term life, term with premium, all this talking. No, Jason, how do you get to the heart fast? Tell the people, Jason, how do you get there?
I talk to a lot of people, and I'm like a linebacker. I just got my head on a swivel, and I'm like, who is coachable? Who will be able to understand that Bryan Adams started his little old business out of a spare room in his house? Albright started his out of a spare room in his basement. We got pictures of it. So who are you going to listen to? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to listen to, people who are billionaires in this business, like Albright and Bryan Adams, I mean, I'm just like, you going to listen to your uncle who did 35 years at the county? But if you want to listen to someone who truly has freedom, then we've got a team of people that'll pour into you. And that's what I was just like, when I'm talking to people, I'm interested. It's like Sebastian said, everybody I talk to is a winner. This guy, Mike.
I was on my way back to the office today, Jason. I was on my way back to the office, and I wanted to text Andy a question so bad. Because when you're so passionate about what you do, but you find yourself trying to convince people to change.
You can't motivate a mud puddle, baby.
What you say?
You can't motivate a mud puddle.
No, but listen, I was like, why don't people change? I was about to text Andy Albright, and then I said, wait a minute, he wrote a book. And I came back to the book, and it talks about being teachable on step 6 of the 8 steps. Here it reads, people change when they want to change. If you change fast, that indicates you want to change. If you change slowly, that indicates that you don't want to change. Being teachable means that you want to change and that you are willing to change fast. And guess what? That you are looking for something better. The problem that some of us, and I want to encourage leaders right now, that you are out here in the vineyard every single day, selling the dream, overcoming your personal stuff that you got going on in your personal life that nobody else knows about, but you are so positive to everybody else. Let me encourage you. You want something better, but more than likely you are talking to people who don't want nothing better. They're okay with just enough to get back. Go ahead, Jason. Help yourself, sir.
You see, you can't expect well behavior from sick people. And I got news for everybody. We all a little sick, baby. So guess what, Terry? You are now the doctor. You're the coach. You're the mentor. So guess what the solution is? We got it. You got to get them to the TWC, the product call, the activity call. You got to build underneath, help them build underneath them. You got to get them to conference where they can see it from a national level, a world perspective. You've got to get them reading audio, listening to audio, reading books, and get them face to face with somebody that they can connect with.
And Jason, and let's take it a step further. Yes, we have to get them to do those things. But let's go back. We have to do those things. We have to read. We have to grow. We have to change ourselves. We have to become what we want.
And the thing is, Terry, when you're patient, be it yourself or them other new agency owners you work with, they don't want to take the medicine. You can't give up on them when they show back up 2 weeks later. You got to meet them. You got to meet them where they're at. We don't want to blow them out of the water. You know what I mean? I'm so interested to meet Cedric. Okay, so interested to meet. It's Cedric, right, Danielle? Yep. Terry, what I want to find out about Cedric is he going to fold, or is he going to be like Sebastian Chambers? You see, I'm just interested to know. I'm not going to be mad at him, but when I meet him, what is he going to? Is he going to be able to take a self inventory and put himself on trial and have Danielle, Sebastian, Terry, Albright on the jury, Andy Riddle on the jury? We'll throw in some Alex Avian and some Levin Tovich and some Cats, and we'll put a Docky on there too with some Bridget M&M. And will he let those people work with him to help develop him and his business with his wife? You see what I'm saying? Like, and if he does it and goes all in like we have, great. And if he doesn't, that's great too. But time will tell. But we accept everybody. See, I recruit, Terry. I recruit everybody because I want to find out. I see you. If you don't recruit anybody, then you can't start the sorting. You can't start no sorting if you got nothing to sort.
Oh, yeah. And guess what? The people that don't recruit, they get bored, and then they the ones that start the mess because they get bored. We too busy selling, recruiting, and building, and we ain't got time to be sitting around talking about what don't work and what didn't work and what nooking. No, nobody got time for that.
I ain't got time for that.
No, we ain't got no time for that. So if you gotta have something to deal with. You gotta have some people to start sorting. And that's why I'm just a carnival barker. I'm just out there. I'm just the dude trying to show another person to come on into the tent to look at the alligator lady and the wolf boy. And for us, that's LPT and President's Club and the lead system and Robbie Kraft with his awesome suits, and all the things that we've built, and then mix in some Terry Edwards and some Adaki, and Bridget and Olga Mathis and Andy Riddle and Angela Riddle, and Albright shows up and he gives them his cell number, and he is like why would he do that? Because he wants to help you.
And one of the things that always have reigned with me, Jason Mathis, is this right here. When you draw out your group, I always want to be to the far left. I want to be respected, not because of my charisma, not because of my personality, not because of my good-looking wife and my good-looking glasses. I want them numbers to say that, to convict me of being a business owner.
Yeah. Amen. I agree.
We got to go back. Respect is still honorable, Danielle. Respect. Like, I want to be respected. I'd rather be respected than liked. Because when you're respected, even people that don't like you can't do nothing about it. They gotta respect how can you be in this company and not respect what Jason and Olga have built? How can you not respect what Andy and Andrew Riddle have built and all of these other leaders? How can you not respect it? I want to be respected by those that I respect.
And Terry, something that's so good, and something about Cedric and Danielle, everything you're saying, they already hired their first person. They already got somebody.
Oh, you got an agent now?
Yeah, and guess what?
You got an agent.
And guess what? They got a few more coming on board. And guess what else they got?
What?
They got a whole list of people that they're going to be talking to so that we can start getting some policies written.
That's 12 agents because said... And Danielle, that counts at 11.
Yeah.
So this is, we get ready to land this puppy. But let me tell you something, y'all. I had a wake-up call this weekend. I had a wake-up call. When Mike Levitovich started talking about this right here, I came back home and I got in this book. And I started rereading it. And you know what? I started saying, do I have a leg or do I have a nub? I think he called it nubalicious. You see, a lot of times we think we got a leg because we got a person issue paid, but that's just a nub. And we know that a leg starts off as a nub, but a lot of us get sidetracked and hoodwinked thinking that we got a leg and we ain't got nothing but a nub. So in the book, it talks about, so our version, this is on page 110. So our version of a solid leg occurs when it's at least 4 deep. And you have identified the one person out of the 4 that will duplicate and copy. It didn't say talk about. It said duplicate and copy, not what you are preaching, but what you are doing. See, we teach what we know, but we duplicate who we are. Like that right there. I was like, okay, yeah, I might have 15 issue paid legs, but how many of them legs is nubs? So now that done humbled me to get back in the fight, knowing that I ain't got a leg until I'm 4 deep with people copying, selling, recruiting, and building. How did that hit y'all any type of way?
Yeah. I was reading in that book. This was something that Andy had said. Make sure the people following you are learning all they can by your example. So if we're just doing that system, be looking for that one that's going to do what we did. It's not, we make it rocket science, and it's really simple. It's just selling, recruiting, building. Find the person that recognizes that because like, I got to tell y'all, I told you it took me 2 years to really just turn it on. I didn't even realize there was a such thing as selling, recruiting, and building until I was in 2 years. I was just doing stuff just because I naturally do it. But when I really locked in and realized, like, believe it or not, I did everything I did in the first 2 years and couldn't even recite the 4 things we do in every home. Just out there doing what comes natural. But when you start getting intentional and learning about all these things that we do, now you can start applying it. Now you can look at these 8 steps and memorize what these 8 steps are. Now you can look at all the values that go into building the business. Because when people see all those things, now you can teach those things. And now we can do that wash, rinse, repeat system.
And that's where you talking about being fired up. You can be fired up just naturally operating in your natural gifts and abilities.
Right.
Making $100,000 in the insurance industry is not that. It's not difficult at all.
At all.
It is not difficult. But in order to go from being just hype and operating in your natural ability, when you back it up with some competency, get in these books, you can go to passion. But the thing about it is this right here. People don't like going deep. Because then when you start peeling back the onions, you're going to start dealing with, why do I think the way that I do? Who programmed me to think like that? And sometimes it's hurtful. And it's very hard to look yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I'm jacked up. But if we can get deeper by reading the books, coming to the meetings, associating with people that make you uncomfortable, we're going to get there. So we get ready to end this thing, man. Y'all have been great. So I'm a firm believer that the most expensive lesson that any one of us can learn is a lesson that we don't learn from the mistakes of other people. There are people that have already made the mistakes that are willing to show you the blueprint and help you shorten your learning curve. But so many times we won't listen. I saw something on the internet today, and I've been watching it over and over again, and I want to share it with you. It's a very, very successful person that most of us know. And he posted something, and you could just feel the pain in his voice as he was talking about it, like he was asleep for 20 years and then woke up and realized that he was walking dead for 20 years. But this guy, he has 20 Grammy Awards. This guy has 30 Stellar Gospel Awards. multiple Dove, American Music Awards, BET, NAACP Awards, Soul Train Awards. He's consistently in the top billboards he has major crossover appeal. His name is Kirk Franklin. He's a gospel artist. I want to share this video with you. Y'all watch this. I don't know if it's going to bless you like it blessed me, but I'm going to show it to you.
Why we sing?
Why we sing?
You didn't, or you still don't own it?
One of the biggest mistakes I made at 23 years old, I messed up, didn't own my publishing, did all this music, and didn't have the money that I could have had. I missed the opportunity to really be a boss, right?
At 23, what album was that?
The first record.
The
Why we
first
sing?
record.
I just started to own my publishing. Guess what song was my first song owning?
What's that?
Take Me to the King. In my 40s.
Kirk,
So-
you kidding me?
So from my 20s to my 40s, I owned none of my publishing. Now, of course, you know, is I got my songwriter's part, but I didn't get what is the most important part, that IP part, right? That copyright. And then here's also another thing is, because I did not always have the money that I should have had. I didn't have the money I should have had. A lot of times you got to act as if.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You got to keep the kids laced.
Right.
Got to keep wifey laced. You got to act as if, because everybody's expecting you to have something because you got these plaques, these awards. So my opportunity to really own something, I didn't have enough confidence to fight for what I felt like I deserved. First record.
Why we sing?
Listen, y'all. He said, after 23 years, he didn't own his publishing at 23 years old. He started out wrong. And at the end, he talked about he didn't have the confidence to fight for what he deserved. It's some of us right now, we know that we deserve abundance. We know we deserve financial freedom. We know that we're on a mission that's bigger than ourselves, that we're trying to change we're trying to break generational curses off of our family. And sometimes we just don't have the confidence to fight for what we know we deserve. I want to encourage everybody under the sound of my voice today that the way you get the confidence to fight for what you deserve is to get around the people that got what you think you deserve. And you lock arms with those people and you let them instruct you and culture you and build you up and let you know. Tell them, I tell Andy Riddle all the time, don't let me be in a blind spot that I don't know. And then Kirk Franklin said, after 20 years of being in the industry, I got the awards, I got the plaques. He just started owning his publishing. So in our world, it's just like this. Integrity is not buying our personal production. If you think you have a business, the only value that can be determined is based on your passive residual income. So some of us, we get so locked up because we making 100, 125, 150,000 all off of pure personal production. But if we take that to the market says it's worth nothing. So after 20 years, he just now started owning and building his own. Like Jason said, if you want to make a decision to change, you can make that decision today. And he said, yeah, I had the songwriter stuff. Yeah, that's the personal production, right? But because I had the image of success, I had to act as if. When I came to the Alliance, I had been acting as if. I had the good job. I had the car, the clothes, the houses. But what I knew deep down inside, Jason, I knew that one bad mistake and my whole financial house was going to crumble like a house of cards. I was tired of acting as if. And I wanted to lock arms with some real people. And that's what I see at the Alliance. It is real people making real money that overcome real life circumstances. Because I didn't have, he said, because I didn't have what people thought I had to act as if. That acting as if stunting for the gram, putting on your happy face all the time, acting as if is a very heavy weight to bear. If I can leave the Alliance family with anything, you may be like Kirk Franklin. You got the key leader title, AM, DM, RM, Super PAC Pearl, whatever it is. But you know deep down you still ain't fulfilled. Let this be your wake-up call. Because your family is dependent on it. I will never forget this thing. Stephen Davis says, for every punch that you're not willing to take, that's going to be a punch that your loved ones have to take. My loved ones have been beat up enough. I have been beat up enough. I don't know about y'all, but it's time for us to stop acting as if and build this thing so that our children's children will be able to sit under the shade of the tree that you planted. God bless you guys so much. Thank you, panelists. You guys were amazing. Thank you, Andy and Jane Albright. Let's go out. Let's dominate. 90-day run, international boot camp. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. I love you guys so much. God bless you and have an amazing day.